Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. Mishno here, and today we're going to be talking about a very special deck list. This is not my deck list, this is the deck list of LUWEG, who came in at 4th place of the recent Space Cup 3. So huge shoutouts to LUWEG, not only for his great tournament performance, but also for letting me cover his deck list. I had a great conversation with him about his card choice and how he felt about the deck. So big shout out to him for taking the time to talk to me about it, kind of explain some of his thoughts on it, and we're gonna get right into it, basically. If you don't know about Chaos Galaxy, it's a cool indie TCG. Link in the description to the Discord. We play lots of games, talk about cards. There's tournaments every couple months or so. Very fun times. Now, let's get into the deck. This is a KAZZARAK deck, first of all. Obviously, there were 4 KAZZARAK players in the top 8 of Space Cup 3. LUWEG'S list is probably the most unique out of the 3. It is a more standard variation of KAZZARAKS. It's going to be a little bit more aggressive. You're going to be playing a couple different cards, a little more cards to open up the board, more combiner creatures, and stuff like that. The other variant would be the Birds variant, which hopefully I can get Secret or Jez or whoever to come on here and talk about. But that aside, let's get right into the list. First of all, Teklar. Teklar, interesting choice. The plant ability is not particularly useful. Most other KAZZARAK decks this tournament chose to run Sindel instead. LUWEG said that Teklar is still pretty good. It lets you... The main usage, right, is that the opponent, if they have Abandonment in their sideboard, which is a pretty good sideboard card, they won't be able to use it against you. So they'll have to be running Combustion or something. So that seemed to be the main reason that LUWEG decided to run Teklar over Sindel. Also, his deck didn't... I think his deck maybe didn't have space to fully take advantage of Sindel, since it needs to run a lot of cards to fully take advantage of it, like Walking Man and Cerebram and stuff like that, which are good cards, but LUWEG didn't personally opt into those. So let's get right into the combiner creatures. We are just be running 2. We're running LUWEG ran 2 of the ground KAZZARAK. This is a KAZZARAK that you really don't see in the other KAZZARAK lists. LUWEG, mainly I think people don't like running it because 400 gets walled out by Serpent and Galostris, but LUWEG is a firm believer in this card. Obviously, swinging for 8 is incredibly strong. You can't really chump blocker it because it has 2 attacks. They don't get much value off point threat either because there's 2 attacks. It's relatively bulky in its own right. He can cycle this or cycle the Sky KAZZARAK, so he has like multiple combiners he can start cycling with. He thinks the card's super solid, and it's solid. It's a solid card. Then obviously the more popular KAZZARAK is the Sky KAZZARAK. People like this one a little bit more. 470 power lets it attack over anything. And obviously the attachment removal is a good, decent counter to the Whirlpool Jetpack that you're going to see a lot of play of in this format. So obviously Sky KAZZARAK really popular. Ground KAZZARAK, super strong card, a little bit more of an off-meta pick, but still super solid all around. We'll take these out. And then as far as normal creatures, LUWEG ran 1 KAZZARAK Creator. This card's pretty interesting. LUWEG has... He said he's thought about running 2, he's just not sure about it yet. But 1 seemed to do well as well. Obviously this card is very good as like a chump blocker, can clear out smaller things as well. You can cycle it, you can use it as Sky KAZZARAK fodder. Super strong card in this strategy. Common Heartstar, obviously, to bring back your Sky KAZZARAKs if you need to clear the board, and your ground KAZZARAKs if you're trying to make an offensive play. And then as last creature is Pelfam, obviously a staple in a lot of decks. Just breaks boards like nobody's business. It's been played in every format since the beginning of the game. Very strong card. Now, as far as resources go, he's going to be running 2 Telepathic Touch. Obviously, generic combiner creature, very important for the deck. 2 Cosmic Treasure. Also just helping you get through your deck, maintain an advantage. This card's just busted in like every single deck. It's also really good in combiners because when you play a combiner, it becomes 2 combiner cards, become 1 creature. So it basically acts as going -1, and it makes it super easy to play Cosmic Treasure. And then obviously Spoon's been a staple since it came out. Very strong consistency card. Lets you see your deck way faster, and that's super important in combiner decks where You have to have both half your combiner. You have to have both halves of your combiner to play it, right? Okay, and then here are the ones that you're not going to see as much recently. Time Flash Portal, two copies of Time Flash Portal. Very good offensive card, right? Opens up the board so you can swing for 8 or 10 or 5 or whatever. Just huge attacks. So very good in that, right? And then also, interesting thing that I talked to LUWEG about and we saw through his like tournament videos. If you go like watch his top 8 matches against Oddish, I think he played against Oddish. You'll see that you can also use Time Flash Portal like kind of as like a makeshift planetary field, right? Where you basically slow down your opponent by a whole turn, just by playing a Time Flash Portal. So it's also helps your survivability as you get your card set up, your combiner set up. And also he's running Charge Blaster. Charge Blaster super solid removal card, especially in a deck like KAZZARAKS where you're not really paying for creatures, you're only really paying for like KAZZARAK Creator and zones, a couple other things. But yeah, super solid card. It's gonna help him open up boards up as well. Seem to be a big fan of this. And then also against like smaller creatures that might be kind of annoying because they're easier to spam. This clears them out really well. Obviously, Galaxy Crash, G Crash, staple in pretty much every deck since the game's inception. Busted card, just really good. Okay, then we're going to be going into. Did I mess this up? Oh no, I didn't mess this up. Okay, then we're going to go into the attachments. Play one for sale sign. This card's limited now, half band, if you will. Very strong card, obviously. It's just incredibly good at punishing your opponent for overextending. It opens up boards like nobody's business. In KAZZARAKS, you don't really need a lot of stars, so for Shell Sign is very solid in this strategy. Not only other strategies, but this one as well. Obviously, 2 Talcon's Helm is going to help you cycle your Sky KAZZARAKS and your Ground KAZZARAKS. Phantom Matter, this is going to. This card's broken. This card's been played since the beginning. It's just really good. So those are going to be the attachments. Yeah, I've noticed less people playing for Sale Sign recently. But LUWEG and Oddish and Fish, they all seem to think it's like still extremely strong, which I would agree with. I think it should probably see more play than it does right now. Then, as far as activators, Erratic Void. So Erratic Void is very commonly seen, but it's mostly seen in Sideboard. I talked to LUWEG a little bit about it, how he felt about it in main deck, and he said it's really good. He said it's really good. Obviously, it has so many times you can play against Pally, but even outside of the Pally matchup, every deck runs Phantom Matter, right? So you're always going to have at least one target, so running one in main is never going to hurt you, is how it sounded like LUWEG felt about it. And then Activation Activator, 2 copies. This is also very commonly seen. There's just so many activators in this format that it feels dumb to not run 2 on it. Like, I don't know. There's just so many targets for this, and so many of the targets are so impactful. There's Beast of the Black Hole, Planetary Field, Crown, Point Turret, Erratic Voids, other AAAs. It's just like crazy how many things this can just negate. Planetary Field, super strong for protecting, especially your Sky KAZZARAKS or your Ground KAZZARAKS. Since they do get killed by a lot of Pally creatures, this just lets you protect your board and then kind of revenge kill. So super strong card. Staple. Point Threat, staple, gets you points, negates an attack. Very good, very important for survivability, right? And then Beast of the Black Hole, obviously staple, board wipe. Been played since it was released. We all know Beast of the Black Hole, I'm sure. And then we're going to come to the sideboard. Sideboard, 6 cards. First of all, the creature, one creature he ran, was Orbob. Now, Orbob is obviously the chump blocker. LUWEG said he really liked this card. Very strong in a lot of matchups, helps the survivability, especially since he's not running other chump blockers like Walking Man that you might see in other KAZZARAK builds, especially the bird variants. He said this one is definitely strong, and I think he said he would even main deck it. If he's going to build this deck again, and tournament, he's going to main deck this, is what it sounded like. Rewind Her Wormhole, pretty common sideboard pick against bugs, more aggressive bugs lists. This can get really hard for bugs to win. So yeah, pretty common to see that here and there. And then Quadruple Wormhole, that's an interesting one. I talked to him. It sounded like he basically cited this just because Diamond cited it, is what it sounded like. He basically was worried that Diamond might play Quadruple Wormhole and they might lose in the late game. So he decided to just make sure he would always win those scenarios. It sounded like they would be fine if they only decided one. So we might see that in the future, but that's why I chose that. Obviously, the second Radic Void. The first Radic Void is good in all matchups, but the second one's a little bit iffy. There's some matchups where there's also free plays and other ones where it's not as useful, like KAZZARAKS. So yeah, that was the sideboard. All around, a very solid, aggressive KAZZARAK build. A little bit different than the Birds variants you'll probably see from other players like Sword and Seeker and Jez. But it performed very well, and it seemed like a solid deck. I feel like I'm missing something. Lily talked to me about so much, so hopefully I did justice. Hopefully I did justice. He like really explained a lot of things to me. So huge shout outs again to LUWEG. Thank you so much for helping me with this. I think it's really important that we get these deck profiles out. Obviously, like I said earlier, there's going to be a Discord link down to the community Discord down below. There's going to be a paste bin link with the deck list, so if you want to copy and paste this, put it in Untap and play it for yourself, knock yourself out. There's also going to be a link down below to a playlist, and it's going to be a bunch of deck profiles from this format specifically. It's going to be the March 2022 Chaos Galaxy TCG deck profiles. So right now it's going to have Diamond's deck list, which I did earlier, LUWEG'S deck list, which I did now, and then also there's going to be a Oddish deck list in there, which was the winner of Space Cup 3. So huge shout out to Oddish for making a deck profile. Great to see those. So that's it for me today. I'm actually about to do a reaction to the new Chaos Galaxy cards that just dropped, so make sure to check that out later. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more Chaos Galaxy stuff and all that. Bye.